So I'm rocking some Mack swag today, straight out of Allentown. And that's because Mack has a brand new Class 8 long haul tractor on the market. It's called the Pioneer. And I flew in from New York City and Allentown, Pennsylvania just last night, coming back from the launch of the truck, very splashy launch of the truck. And we're going to talk a little bit about this new truck, tell you some details on it today, and let you know what's going on with the good folks at Mack Trucks. Hi everyone, I'm Jack Roberts. Welcome to Off Duty Driver. And like I just said, I've been in Brooklyn, New York and Allentown, Pennsylvania this week. Mack Trucks was born in Brooklyn 125 years ago, and they spent about 5 years building trucks in the Big Apple and realized that having a truck manufacturing plant in the middle of New York City wasn't exactly a great idea. So they decided to move to Allentown, Pennsylvania, and that's still largely considered Mack's home turf even to this day, even though the company's official headquarters is in Greensboro, North Carolina. But in a very cool sort of nod to its 125-year history, Mack chose to launch the Pioneer at the Brooklyn Naval Yard right in the heart of New York City. And actually, I saw the truck a week earlier than that. I went out to Allentown a week ago with some other journalists. We got a sneak peek of the truck and then flew back to New York City earlier this week for the official launch. Both of those stories, both the sneak peek and my impressions of the actual launch of the truck are live right now on truckinginfo.com, so you can go check those stories out. And I guess as we dive into the news story of the Mack Pioneer, the first thing I need to tell you is Mack officials are very clear the Anthem isn't going anywhere, at least not for a while. The Pioneer is the first truck Mack is doing in what is basically going to be a 2-year refresh of its entire product line. There are new trucks coming, and the Pioneer is simply the first. And they're going to do a complete makeover of their entire portfolio. And right now, the details are sketchy, although I've told the details will become clearer about how the next generation Mack model lineup is going to look in the coming months as more details emerge. So stay tuned on that front. According to Fernando Carciero, Vice President on Highway, the Pioneer's name reflects the trend-setting push this truck represents because Mack wants back into the on-highway market. Now, they've been players in the vocational market in a huge way for decades. But if you're as old as I am, you can remember a time when Macks were very common in long-haul applications. Long-haul, line-haul are an integral part of Mack's DNA. And the Pioneer was designed from the ground up to move Mack back into long-haul in a big way. There's a lot to talk about with this new truck. There's no way I'm going to be able to cover everything in a short video like this, but I'm going to hit some high points. First off, this is a great looking truck. It just looks like a Mack truck. The term badass was thrown around quite a bit during the launch. That shows you where we are in this world today, where you got these suit types. So this truck is badass, but it is badass. It's a good looking truck. It's broad shouldered. It looks tough, but it's a super sleek aerodynamic design at the same time. So it's really, really interesting to stand back and kind of check it out. You look at it from the front, you're like, man, this thing looks like a linebacker coming at me, through an offensive line. And then you look at it from the side and the dang thing is wedge shaped and it looks super sleek. So kudos to the Mack engineers for really doing a hell of a job with that balancing act. Tough, but aero is not an easy thing for vehicle designers to pull off. The Mack Bulldog has been riding atop Mack grills for decades now, and it turns out that little dog, to really no one's surprise, creates a bit of aerodynamic drag coming over the top of the hood. So now with the Pioneer, he or she, because I have a female pit bull, so I have to be, fair to the ladies out there. The dog has been integrated into the hood design itself. It's still prominent, still looks great. But now the way the Bulldog is integrated into the cab of the truck, it actually helps airflow over the design. I know, let's real quick, we all know what our Bulldogs stand for. If you got a silver Bulldog in vocational, it's a Mack truck with various powertrain components. It's a gold Bulldog in vocational, it's an all Mack powertrain. If you see a Pioneer with a gold Bulldog, it means simply it's the most tricked out, most luxurious Pioneer package you can get. And let me tell you, these things are super luxurious on the inside. But before we jump in the cab, let's talk about the iconic Mack nameplate on the front of the truck. For many, many years, they've been mounted high up on the grill. But again, same as the Bulldog, for aerodynamic reasons, that iconic Mack nameplate is now down much lower on the grill of the truck. And there was a little bit of back and forth about this during the launch. Some people were not sure about it. I like it. I mean, looking at the truck from a distance, the nameplate really, really pops out at me now for some reason. I don't know if it catches the sunlight or oncoming headlights better, but it really pops to me, which I think is really cool. And, and I'm no automotive designer, but, perspective is an important part of automotive design. And I think with the nameplate lower, it just makes the truck look tougher, bigger, more massive. I mean, I think it just really makes the truck pop. And so, it's a tiny detail considering all the work that's gone into this design. But again, I think it really, really works well in setting the Pioneer apart from previous generation Mack trucks. All right, I told you I was going to talk a little bit about the interior, and here we go. It is a very spacious and well-appointed interior with lots and lots of driver comfort features. Fold-down bunks, fold-down dinette table. There is a super cool patent-pending mounting bracket inside the cab of the truck for electronic logging devices, dispatching display screens, iPads, anything you want to. No more drilling into plastic, cracking the plastic, no more ELDs and electronic devices on the floor. This thing is hard mounted into the dash. You can put anything you want to on there. It's a simple design thing, but Mack has actually applied for a patent on it. The interior of the truck is 9 inches wider than the Anthem, so it feels spacious, feels really, really roomy inside. And when you're in there with one of the high roof sleeper options, it just almost feels like an apartment. So it's very easy to move around inside this truck. Again, truck was designed with long haul drivers in mind. And when you start checking out the dash and the center console from the driver's seat, man, I mean, this thing is a game changer. The dashboard looks like something out of a spaceship. I was looking at it thinking I always say the first truck launch I went to in '96 was Volvo. The second was Mack. I think it was Pinnacle. And I was looking at the dashboard in the Pioneer a couple days ago, and I thought, man, if you had shown somebody a dash layout like this and all the controls and the capabilities on this truck in 1996, they wouldn't have known what to think. They would just thought you were crazy. On a simple ergonomic front, the truck comes with the famous Mack flat bottom steering wheel. I'm a big fan of it. It does clear your gut a lot better, and let's be honest, who among us that drinks beer doesn't like that sort of thing? But I think it gives you a much more firm, direct control over the vehicle when you're turning and maneuvering. The steering wheel has a whole host of new, big, easy, almost clunky control buttons on the steering wheel. And I don't mean clunky in a negative way. I mean clunky in that you can feel what you're pushing even with work gloves on, and it's not a confusing layout. You can see big icons. You can look down and see, oh, I want cruise control. Boop, there it is. You got it. It's very well designed. The seats in the truck are just incredible. Air ride, of course. Mack has added cooled and heated seat options now. You can get lumbar support. You can even get a back massaging option on this truck if you want it. So again, just packed full of features that are really designed with driver comfort in mind. And again, I don't have time to go through all of them here, but I'm going to jump out at one that really stuck out to me. And that's the new programmable Mack Command Steer feature on this truck. Now, Command Steer is an electronic steering control system, and basically what you do is you add an electronic control system onto the steering column, and it helps drivers deal with bad roads. The electronic system can take shocks out of the equation before they jerk the steering wheel, causing you to lose control. And it also is programmable. You've got 4 settings on the system. It has a default system, which is kind of, your standard everyday driving. It's got a light setting, and that's to give you very light control in the steering wheel, so you're backing, docking, maneuvering at low speeds. Let's see, there's a responsive control that gives you a lot more control on curvy roads. And then I forgot one. We've got default, we got light, stable, which is if you're on, say, you're chasing sun on I-40 in Texas and the road is just flat, there's nothing going on, it gives you really stable lateral control as you're going on a straight, long highway. But the really cool feature here is you can go into command steer and you can customize the settings to give you a perfect match for whatever your driving style is. You can adjust the tracking on the truck when it's straight ahead, like I was just talking about. You can adjust how tight you want the truck to corner. You can control how quickly the steering wheel return moves when you're in low maneuvering speeds, and you control the amount of road shock that comes through the steering wheel. You do need to have some feel for what the road is doing, obviously, but you don't want so much feel that the truck's going all over the road. Again, you can adjust all of these parameters exactly where you want them on these sliding scales, and you can dial that truck in and get it to drive exactly how you want, anytime you want. So I'll have a lot more on the Pioneer in the coming days. I did a test drive yesterday, and we've got a longer test drive coming, I think, later this summer. But there will be more news on this truck in the coming days and weeks. So be sure and check truckinginfo.com out to keep up with the latest on the Pioneer. And it looks like Mack has got a lot of stuff going on coming up in the next few weeks and even years, couple years ahead. So in the meantime, what do you think of the new Pioneer? Let us know in the comments below. And until next time, I'm Jack Roberts here at Off Duty Driver, telling you to hold them in the road.